Alright, let's do this. Okay. Yesterday I was a little out of sorts, so it's it was good to be back. That's really what I should have talked about, was like, it's just good to be back doing this. I don't know if I'm going to even stream again. I meant to just do like a game and stuff like that and hang out, but I didn't. I've talked about my empathy and, you know, my kind of ability to read people and things like that. I think I'm actually a really bad judge of character. I've had, over the years, I've had some really, really rotten friends. I mean, so rotten that the fact that even my grandmother would be like going, yeah, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. And I was just like, when I looked at my friends, I was like going, yeah, these people don't represent me at all. So, like, as far as a judge of character, I think that I'm pretty piss poor. Said, I've had some friends who I never when we met, if I actually did any type of judging and stuff like that, I never would have become friends with them. And it's just by sheer dumb luck and my over-optimism that we've become friends. And it's amazing to me how they lasted. In middle school, I was really popular. everything right, and got good grades and everything like that, it'll all turn around for me. And it was very lonely. I was kind of like learning things on my own. And it's probably one of the main reasons why I feel like I don't think like everybody else. And I have my own, solid opinions. It wasn't until college in case not everybody knows, I dropped out of high school. I wondered why I was getting good grades, why I was even studying, why I was even there. And the sad part about it is, because it's all based on credits and stuff like that, I was already at that point. At the time that I quit, I could have graduated I could have just coasted through and got my diploma and not worried about it. I did aim for valedictorian, and I didn't have anybody really to confide in what I was feeling, and I actually asked myself, what was I doing this all for? When I was looking at colleges, I realized, what was I doing this for? Because if I stayed on the track that I was on, if I didn't quit high school, I would have become a lawyer, and I basically would have just hated my life. Because I hated my life right then. I hated what I was becoming. And so, and I actually thought I was doing it for my dad. And I actually looked at him, very successful man, and realized he wasn't happy. And I decided to quit high school and go find my happiness, whatever that brought me. So before college, I had no intention of even getting my GED or even having any credentials whatsoever. So I explored my world. And I tried to broaden my world. And it was creating. I love building things. I love learning new things. And I was writing. I was doing this stuff. I was doing, writer retreats. I was getting invited to all these different crazy things at the time. And I thought I was going to be a poet. And I think I waited too long. Or I was born in the wrong era. Because the time of the beatnik poet, doing poetry slams in coffee houses and stuff like that was going away. Things like Starbucks was replacing all those wonderful little coffee houses, and where you could have poetry and all this craziness going on, artists. I was invited to apply for an editor position, and I had to submit my work and submit my reporting and submit all this other stuff, and I created a portfolio and did all these things. Went to the interview, and I charmed the pants off of them. And they wanted to hire me, not as an editor. They wanted to hire me as a copywriter. Was not a copywriter. I definitely did not want to end up doing other people's work. I wanted my own. I wanted to approve other people's work and create my own when there was gaps. I didn't even really want it. As an editor, I didn't even really want other writers. I didn't realize it then, but it took me a long time to realize it. And the first thing they told me is that I have to have a high school diploma. I could not have it without a high school diploma, and I have to have college. I should have at least a bachelor's degree, but they were looking for somebody more with a master's degree, and possibly a doctorate in writing and literature. So I really just went down, took the test to get my GED. Got my GED, and after a series of unfortunate events, because at the time I was writing somebody's autobiography, which really kind of doesn't make sense, but I was ghostwriting it for them. So it was like their autobiography in their words. They were paying me to do that. But after a series of unfortunate events, and I'll probably get into all that later, it was recommended that I go to college. I wanted to go to a more free-form college, one of the ones that I visited when I was in high school. I don't know if I should name it, but because I never went there. Instead, I went to a state school under the request of actually several people. One was my mentor at the time. And I used it as my in. College changed a lot of things for me. The main thing that it changed was friends. Yes. I had single-serving friends. Yes, there were so many people in college that I was connected to that I no longer have any connection to them at all. With the exception of one. And he still, to this day, is my best friend. Talked in, has it been 10 years? It's probably been close to 10 years. I have done all the things that I wanted to do. And I still have so many things to learn, which is what keeps me going, always. And I used to joke that the only reason I'm still alive is so that I can outlive all my enemies. Basically, have some regret. And the funny thing about it is I've already outlived a lot of them. The reason I'm talking about all this right now is because when I first wrote the lyrics to my lore song, all this that I'm talking about, a lifetime of a freaking experience that I have, the missing friends, the passing friends, the missed opportunities because I was so in my head, and a really good friend of mine in middle school turned to me and told me they were gay. Not then. 30 freaking years later. And I was just like, what? And I was like, how long did you know? Because I thought, even though people are kind of, they're born gay, or they're born with whatever, it's been my experience and my personal experience that we don't know who we are until we start trying to discover it. And I was under the impression that he was, even though he didn't see it himself. But that's not true. He knew he was gay the entire time he knew me, even before that, even before anything. And he did not feel safe I said, we talked and stuff like that, and their life is their life. My life is my life. And I've had a few friends, very few. Not that all of a sudden everybody started coming out to me and telling me that they're gay, but actually, gay is just an aspect of a person. It's you don't need to be anything other than you. And the few people that have actually done that, some of them I'm still friends with, some of them I still have contact with, some of them I don't. Some of them I couldn't even tell you where they are, what they're doing, even whether they're alive, whether they're dead. I couldn't tell you. But they showed me who they really were. And I feel good believing that they know that I accepted them for who they were. That they didn't have to put on any magical airs. They didn't have to, try to be somebody that they weren't. They didn't have to do anything. And as silly as it is, as almost nonsensical, because VTubers, and I'll use Iron Mouse as the example, she came out as Satan. She came out as a little demon, and ruler of the underworld. And we all know that that's not, unless you're stupid, I don't know what to say. You know that she's not. But saying that, having those feelings, allowed her to actually show who she is. And what she's about. I don't know. My journey, like I said, lasted through college and still goes on today, of discovering who I am and who I was and who I want to be. And nothing gives me more pleasure in having somebody else share that with me. And it also makes me not feel alone. And it's kind of like the one thing in my tribe, the tribe, has always hit hard for me. And you're all welcome. I want everybody to be a part of the tribe. And if you don't want to be part of the tribe, and it's not just following, you can follow me and not be part of the tribe. Yay! The secret's out. But you know, you could be a spark and not be part of the community if you don't want to. I mean, this is you. Like I said, some people have revealed who they really are, and for them, their journey ended with our journey together ended because of it. And it's not that I don't think about them. It's not that I'm not even mad at them for it. I am just happy to know that they trusted me enough to allow me in. We're going to end this in a few minutes, but one of the things that happened is that I didn't get to work early enough to be able to do this before. But it's so nice not to have. So nice not to have the muffler. I would love for you, if you're watching this, to put in the comments below that I am a member of your tribe. I would love that. But I'm happy with just Cool Beans. Cool Beans is enough. It is. And if you could do Cool Beans, it would make my day. It always does. I have about seven Cool Beans total. In the 411 now morning commutes, and that 7 is 7 more than I could have even hoped for. I never thought it would even happen. So it's beyond my expectations. You are a part of this, and you can always still remain anonymous if you want, and I will thank you just as much. And I really do hope I this feeling of knowing who I am, I wish I could share it. And I don't think I could ever be a guide, because I think that it would actually kind of spoil it or taint it, and that would kind of ruin your journey. I can only be an example, and I hope my example is good enough to inspire. That's why I use sparks of inspiration. Because we can inspire each other. And I hope wherever you are, whatever you're doing after this video, even if it is to watch another one and hear me say the same thing, you're enjoying yourself. It lifts you up. I know some of my videos are a little bit of a downer, but life isn't always rosy, cherry, and craziness, but it is beautiful. and it is worth it. I am the first to say, after being lonely for many, many years, that it's worth it. It's worth it to fight on. It's worth it to go through the pain. And I hope you do. Alright, as always, take care. Alright, bye.